Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of The Monster's Den. Today is gearing up for Halloween day here on the Den. We've got in the house, we've got Jamie Laszlo, Craig Kaminski, and all the way from Scotland. It's always in the middle of the night every time we have him on the show. Mr. Davy Gallgher, what's going on?
He never sleeps.
He never sleeps. He doesn't.
He doesn't.
What's sleep? Sleep is for the dead.
He's sending
man.
texts all the time at this time,
Mhm.
even when there is no show.
I'm going to wait for the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down.
So what we got for you today is just a fun little show, seeing as it's the beginning of October. For those of us who are into this sort of thing, usually October month, we gear up all of our horror film watching. And for some of us anyway, we have some films that we traditionally always have to watch this time of year at some point during the month leading up to Halloween. We may watch some other times of the year as well, but specifically got to watch them this month. And then usually, and I ask the guys to kind of prepare for this as well, is are there any films that you are anticipating watching this year as well? Maybe something new you haven't seen before, maybe something you just picked up and you're excited to kind of crack that open and pop it in this month, either to watch it, for the second time, third time, or for the very first time. So we'll have each person, and if there's anything else you do, this I was kind of hoping Rich Catino would be on because I wanted him to talk about how he prepares his house and his yard for Halloween and duds it all up with some totally wacky and cool stuff. But if there's anything else that you do like to get ready for Halloween, whether decorating or whatever it might be, dressing up or anything like that, you can mention that too in your turn. So we'll have David kick start us off with his selections for getting ready for Halloween.
So the getting ready section.
Yes.
Anybody that knows me obviously knows I love my classics. So I'm going all the way back to when I watch every year, 1945, the original anthology portmanteau movie, Dead of Night.
Classic.
Starring Michael Redgrave, Googie Withers, and plenty more besides. You don't have this, you don't have Amicus. It is the blueprint for everything that Milton Subotsky took for Dr. Terror, and then the success of that led on to all the other Amicus anthology movies. But the great thing about this is it doesn't feel like it's 20 years older than those movies. It just feels black and white. It's still incredibly modern. There are, it's impossibly English because it's made by Ealing, but Michael Redgrave's performance with the dummy, which is perhaps the most iconic segment of it, is just absolutely breathtaking. And like most great anthology movies, it has a wonderful wraparound to tie it all together. And this might be one of the best wraparounds ever. It's not a cheesy host like Burgess Meredith and Torture Garden or something where it's, oh, is it going to be the devil? Oh no, it's the Angel of Death this time. That's completely different. It's none of that nonsense. It's really clever. The wraparound segment in this is just as good as any one of the individual stories that you follow. And that dummy segment reminded me, and it was right next to it. So
has everybody seen that film here?
I have not.
I have not. I don't think so.
You need to.
I think I do. Yes.
Yes.
Really, for an old film, it still packs a wallop.
Yeah, to me, that's coming out at the same time as the Universals. It's head and shoulders above the level of kind of acting and filmmaking that was happening there. It just feels much more fresh and much more modern. And the dummy sequence would be expanded into Magic. The Anthony Hopkins movie from was it the early 80s or the late 70s?
78.
About then. So there's a young Tony Hopkins there. That's Anthony Hopkins there, by the way, in case anybody's dummy. And then yes, Halloween, for somebody that watches a lot of horror movies, it's not something that I tend to take as a very scary time of year. So one that I always watch every time of year from a more fun point of view is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Just to have an absolute blast. This to me is one of the most fun movies made. It's a brilliant musical. It's a brilliant horror, it's a brilliant comedy, and it's got iconic performances up and down from obviously Tim Curry as Frankenfurter, with Susan Sarandon, a very young Susan Sarandon. Then you've got Richard O'Brien, you've got Charles Gray as the narrator, and then the soundtrack's got the Time Warp on it, for goodness sake. Great tracks like Over at the Frankenstein Place. There's a reason why this has been running as a show for 50 plus years, and the film itself is a perennial. And there's Tim Curry as Frank there.
Yep.
Give yourself over to absolute pleasure.
I saw it for the first time just last year. I bought it. I saw it used on Blu-ray. I watched it for the first time.
Oh, maybe you saw it too late.
Had to be there, or you got to be with a bunch of people at midnight in the theater.
I volunteered last year at locally at the Colonial during a screening of Rocky Horror, and then the actors reenacted the movie in front of the
stage.
In front of the screen.
I was throwing rice in my living room.
You could throw things. No, it was fun. I mean, everybody has a really good time with it, and but I after the first hour or so, I kind of zoned out. Once.
It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. You're nuts. What isn't a masterpiece though is the sequel, which is Shock Treatment. Which hardly anybody even remembers, but Arrow gave a nice deluxe edition too. They did do a sequel, but
it's the musical as well.
That's a musical too. It follows Brad and Janet again, played by different actors this time, but Richard O'Brien's back doing the music. But it's the mid '80s. It's the times past. And then my last pick for what I would watch guaranteed every Halloween season. Again, for a horror comedy, it's a trilogy, because I guess we're all kind of the same, and we like our franchises somewhat because you can delve into it. So a one and done is great, but you also like something you can kind of immerse yourself in for a few days and kind of. So for me, and I'm going to be doing videos on these on my channel, so I won't go too in depth. But it's the Reanimator saga. So Reanimator. Bride of Reanimator, and Beyond Reanimator, which for some reason I've got 2 copies of. Because if you have 2 copies of anything, you need it of the third one. But Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator are 2 of the best horror comedies of the 80s. I mean, I know if they hold up something like Evil Dead 2 or whatnot, or even Return of the Living Dead, but Reanimator to me is one of the better examples that works perfectly well as a horror and as a comedy if you want to read it that way. But you can actually ignore some of the comedy if you don't want to read it that way too, because everybody plays it so perfectly straight. Jeffrey Combs is just immense in it as Herbert West. And being from Arrow, all these are just big deluxe boxes. You get full comic books of the adaptations, and one's a prequel to the movie. The third one was made for the Sci-Fi Channel in the 2000s, so it isn't quite as good. But you've got Jeffrey back playing Herbert West, so it's a bit like what we're going to come to in a few weeks, where sometimes we're going to say, at least we've got Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing playing Van Helsing or Dracula. So sometimes that's how you need. So those would be my 3 picks for the ones that I genuinely or normally would turn to each Halloween at some point.
Plus, you get to watch Barbara Crampton each and every Halloween.
Can't go wrong with that.
Barbara Crampton's, and she's so good in From Beyond as well. She took them by surprise. In that, she took them by surprise so much that Stuart Gordon said, "I need to write something real for you instead of just the girl."
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, cool, Craig.
Well, I don't think there's any set movies that I watch every Halloween, but for this season there are a handful that I want to watch, and I like to try and involve my wife in with these too. So there's at least a couple that we've seen before, but that I know that she likes and that she'll enjoy. One is it's going to be on Turner Classic I think on Monday night. So we've already got the DVR set, and that is 1980's The Fog. It's classic, and one that, again, my wife appreciates, that she likes that movie too, because it's not it's scary but not graphic or anything, and but just a super well made movie, and I enjoy watching it too, and that's one that the Horathon showed one year. The very first movie that they showed at 12 noon was The Fog. So that opening scene with John Houseman, telling the story on the beach, it's just such a great way to begin the movie, and how his whole monologue is just so well done, and it really is frightening the way that he inflects his voice, telling this story around the campfire to the kids. So yeah, 1980's The Fog is another.
I can't wait to watch my 4K. I just got the 4K of The Fog.
I saw.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous in 4K. It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that this month.
Another one that from the same year that I like, and my wife happens to really enjoy the movie too, and that's from 1980, Brian De Palma's Dressed to Kill. My wife, she loves that movie, and I do too. Just with that, it's suspense, and then it kind of goes into a slasher, and it's a mystery. With who done it. Although she kind of got a little unnerved with that there's long sections with no dialogue or anything, that you kind of just have to watch what's going on and piece it together for yourself. But I think I've always enjoyed that. I think it's a really, really fun, obviously a very Hitchcockian with the way that it's done, but all the scenes that we know with in the elevator, and use of mirrors, and the shower, Angie Dickinson in the shower. At least I like that part. I can't speak about what my wife watches with.
Why is it you like that part, Craig?
I like that part. But just a really, really fun mystery. Got some scares in it too, and it turns into a whodunit too. So that's a fun one, I think, to rewatch during the holiday season.
Craig, don't you dare skip the fact that the psychiatrist is played by Michael Caine.
Oh, of course, yes. The pre-revenge on the Jaws.
Yeah, he's fantastic in it.
He is. There's a movie that my next one is a movie that I've seen before. And it's from I saw it before several years ago, and I might have watched it on Turner Classic. Haven't seen it since, and of course, and I keep looking to see if it's on any of the free streaming services, and it's not. So I'm probably gonna have to break down and either buy it or get it on pay-per-view. And that is 1975's Race with the Devil, with Peter Fonda and Warren Oates. Yeah, I remember watching. I watched it once. Really, really enjoyed it, and I wanna watch it again. I don't remember the finer details of it, but in a nutshell, I believe two men and their wives, while on the way back or from a motocross or for some kind of a race or something, witness a human sacrifice and Texas Satanists or something, and then they're on the run from them. I just really want to rewatch it every time. I always think of.
I just bought it on Blu-ray literally last week.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. And so that's one I would like to revisit, and it's one that, again, I think I could pull the missus into that one to watch.
Oh,
it.
Yeah.
It's I believe it's PG, but it still has enough scary parts in it to make it worthwhile. And there's a couple of new TV shows that just started this month that I want to be able to watch. The new season of Chucky premiered last night, and the first season actually was a lot of fun, bringing back lots of the actors from the various prior movies. So that I DVR'd the first episode, and I haven't watched that yet last night, so I'll dig into that. Later in the month is the Werewolf by Night one-off that's going to be on Disney Plus, and to my understanding, the way that it looks is almost like their version of The Beast Must Die. Looks like someone is a werewolf.
Yes.
You have to figure out who it is. It's filmed in black and white, to my understanding. So, and I think it's like 1 hour or something like that, or maybe a hair over an hour. So I'm looking forward to watching that. And then also for curiosity, I'd like to maybe give a chance to the new Hellraiser movie that's coming out in a few days, and I believe that's on Hulu. So I've seen just some of the still pictures of the woman who plays the new version of Pinhead, and just for curious, to give it a try. I very much enjoy the first two movies. I haven't seen the third one in many years, although I do have I have that on my DVR, as well as the fourth movie. Beyond that, they get a little there's not much to go with. But for my own curiosity, I'd like to see how this new version was done. I've heard a couple of positive reviews for it, so give it a try.
Cool. Yeah. Jamie.
All right. Well, I want everyone to know it was 3 minutes after the hour, and I was getting up. I was watching TV. I was going to lay down and read the new Stephen King book that I'm reading. First book I read by him since Insomnia. So that's a long time. What was that, like 94? Yeah. So I saw it. It spoke to me. I said, let me see what he's been up to. So far, it's nothing's going on much, but I'm enjoying it. Good characters, got a nice dog in it. I read it with my dog next to me, like, oh, that nice dog
son of Cujo.
They mentioned Cujo in it. He's like, using it as a reference, as if he didn't write Cujo, which is so I had no idea we were doing a show. I get a text, you're being invited to a meeting. What the fuck is the show about? I have no idea. I didn't know we were doing a show. I didn't know I was invited. So they told me real quick, what do you like to do at Halloween? Well, all right, I could put something together. That's why I'm running around. I'm grabbing shit at the last second. So I used to decorate the house, not like Rich, but one level down. This year, I'm just I normally got the big headless horseman outside, like those big blow up things you see at the Home Depot. His head lights up. He's got a sword. He's got a cape that blows in the wind. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. You do it for your neighbors, and I dislike a lot of my neighbors. I'm like, you don't deserve the work. Shut up the dog and stop revving your engines over there, and maybe I'll put up some Halloween decorations for you. In the meantime, you're all grounded. So I do decorate the bar downstairs. I used to put up cobwebs and stuff, but that just, you find cobwebs still at Christmas, or it's taped to certain things, so I stopped that. But I do it up pretty good in the bar.
You got your universal rug, right?
Oh, I got my universal rug. I'm upstairs, by the way, in the movie room. The bar is downstairs. I do have certain movies. I have like a Halloween traditions here and there. I do normally watch Poltergeist. There's my original DVD. And then I found it on Blu-ray for $5 on Amazon last year. And then
now it's coming out.
You got to have the new 4K. Yeah. I haven't watched the 4K yet. So,
let me know how that is if I need to get it, because I'm a big
right.
I like that movie.
Yeah. I love, I always say, Toby Hooper directed it, but it feels like a Spielberg movie. And I love Spielberg 80s movies. It has that feel.
People always said that Toby Hooper didn't direct half of it and Spielberg did. First of all, Spielberg was very busy about then. And if you watch Invaders from Mars, Toby Hooper could do that family dynamic, no problem.
Yeah. There's certain scenes, though, that I go, oh, Spielberg had to be in the room for that one. I know.
Yeah, because you can see that about the Goonies and stuff as well,
Yeah, because he likes light, and he likes to mess around with light coming through things. And during those scenes, like when they're talking in front of the TV and the little boy is talking, you kind of see his buck teeth in front of the TV. And I'm like, that is so Spielberg right there.
They had
But
a
I love
they,
this movie. It brings me right back
Oh,
to when
yeah.
I saw it with my grandfather in the movie
they
theater.
they had a 40th anniversary screening of that last week when I was at the theater that I was at to see the
Oh yeah,
Ronnie
they
James
do.
Dio documentary. So that was playing in one of the other rooms, 40th anniversary screening. I don't know if anything was different about it or if it had an
Right.
intro from someone.
Not 3D. They should do 3D for that, like they did with Jaws,
That would be
Dawn of
cool.
the Dead. I
Tangina
hope they
in
do that with a
3D.
lot of movies.
It'd be very cool if they did. Yeah.
Yeah, keep those 3Ds coming. What else do I watch? I try to get to The Omen, and this is a little Blu-ray
yeah.
set that I bought at Walmart last year for $25.
Does that have all of them?
Made out of cheap cardboard, which kind of
Yeah, it goes up to the remake, I think.
and it doesn't do it goes up to the remake. It doesn't do the TV movie. What was it called? Armageddon. I
Is
forget.
that the fourth one or the?
Yeah, I got the book up there that I never read. Armageddon 2000. Was that the name of the TV movie too? I don't know.
I don't
But it
remember
doesn't
anything
have it.
after number 4, yeah.
I heard it sucks. I do have a tradition where I love handing out the trick or treats, the candy to the kids. I'll normally dress up. I still got my Sounds to Make You Shiver album. If I knew there was a damn show, I'd have all this to show, but I don't have it. Yeah, my old Sounds to Make You Shiver. If anyone remembers that vinyl album when you were a kid, I saw they just reissued it too. It starts off with the guys talking. So you want to visit a haunted house, and then it just got the creaking doors and everything. And I normally play like the soundtrack, the scores to maybe like Suspiria, or I'll play some Universe Zero, Heresy, and that gets the kids, scared. Some kids are afraid to come up. But every time it's over, every single time, like a cigarette after sex, I watch the original Frankenstein. And I just got the 4K last year. I have not watched any of these 4Ks yet, because when I bought it, I was like, oh, I'm going to wait till October. It's just I don't want to watch it now, and then October comes.
I watched every one of them, like literally with a week after.
I did put them in just to see, what the picture looked like. And it looks like the Wolfman looks really, really, really good on this. And I can't wait to watch Frankenstein again. What's that?
The Wolfman looks different.
It does look different.
Yeah, I think there's a little more grain to the 4K Wolfman than the Blu-ray. They are really different, because I watched all of them, and then I popped in the Blu-ray versions, and most of them look much better, even though the Blu-rays look fantastic. And I'm like, because originally I was skeptical. I was because I think you bought it before I did, and I was like, man, do I really need to buy these again? I mean, I bought them so many times. But I was like, I saw a good price, and I was like, I just jumped.
And Volume 2 is coming out.
It's coming out in a couple of weeks, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Which is so annoying, because you just know that there's going to be exactly like there was on Blu-ray, the complete set eventually anyway. And it took so long for that to happen. Yeah. And how many copies do we own of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein? Because their idea was we had to include every appearance of that monster was in that box set. So you buy the Dracula, he's in that. You buy the Frankenstein, you buy the blah, blah, blah. I think I've got 6 copies of that, and I've never actually intentionally bought it once.
It's crazy. They keep getting our money, man.
I will say this. When I bought this, I said, I'll watch Dracula. I'll watch the first one. And this is why Laszlo's an idiot. Not only does he talk about himself in first person, but I put in Dracula and I sat there and watched it, the whole thing. I was like, that wasn't that much different than my Blu-ray. I had the Blu-ray in the whole time and didn't realize it. I put it back in the 4K staring at me on the other side. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. So I haven't seen it in 4K yet.
All right, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it.
Yes. What I want to watch, a movie I've seen 1,000 times, just got it yesterday, my 4K Army of Darkness and the Steelbook.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the alternative ending version. It's got the TV version that I guess they edited for TV. It's got the 4K version, the theatrical Blu-ray version. It's got this is all the Army of Darkness you need. It's like an 87-minute movie, but you got like 4 days worth of material on here.
Yeah, it's in my,
So-
it's in my Amazon card. That steelbook artwork looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You say the alternative version, Jamie. The version that you guys got over there, was it the S-Mart ending?
Yes.
Because over here,
No,
it
I
was
get
always,
the UK on there.
Yeah,
where he goes.
We always had the Rip Van Winkle ending over
Yes.
here, so it's kind of funny that, you know.
I like the
Because-
S-Mart ending. I think it's
I-
hilarious. I think it's pumped up. It makes me want to watch the movie again. when
The
it
best thing about having both endings is the S-Mart ending ties directly into the TV show, because they
Yes.
don't have the rights for Army of Darkness because Studio Canal own those. So the TV show can't reference Army of Darkness at all, or couldn't
Right.
when it was on air.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, right. But I just like how he stands there with the girl and says, "Hail to the king, baby." So
Wow.
over the top. He
Boomstick.
thinks he's so smart, and he's just an idiot, and that's why I love it.
Yeah, and it's a Ray Harryhausen movie with Asha in it. So hey,
2 more things I plan on watching. If you don't have these, are kind of pricey. I kind of splurged on these because they're like $50 each, but I got all fucking 6 of them. These Universal horror collections with 4 movies each. I love the old shit. Come October, I want it to be black. I want it windy outside, and I want black and white on my TV.
All the lights out. Yep.
Yes, yes, with all the lights.
That's great. I still have some I haven't watched, but I have all those as well.
Yeah, and they're all kind of themed. Like one has to do with like animals, the other one has to do with evil professors or mad scientists, and this one has to do with like apes. And the first one is probably the best one because it's all Lugosi and Karloff. Yeah. So you got Black Friday, the Raven, the Black Cat, the Invisible Ray. You can't go wrong with that one right there. That's if you're gonna buy one, if you're gonna drop $42.99 or $58, whatever they are, that's the one to get.
Yeah.
Or if you're in the UK, folks, get Eureka's Murders in the Rue Morgue, The Black Cat, and The Raven on Blu-ray. Which is, they're also
I got a
of,
region free player now. So
they're doing the same kind of thing, and they're hitting the same kind of movies. But you know what it's like. There's always one missing if you only buy the British ones, or if you only buy the American ones, and then you end up buying a set for one movie.
Yeah, it was weird because they released Murders in the Rue Morgue on its own instead of one of those sets, which I always thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it's called Bela Lugosi set. But to me, Black Cat and the Raven are Lugosi Karloff films.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're definitely collaborations.
And the two best.
Yeah. For me, the Raven's the best thing Lugosi ever did.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, go ahead, Craig.
No, I was just going to say there. I had forgotten to mention in the things that you want to see, where things that I'd like to attend locally for me at the Colonial Theater. They're at the end of the month. They're doing the Dawn of the Dead 1978 version in 3D. That I'd like to see. They're showing one of Davy's favorites at locally with. Vincent Price's daughter is going to be there to do a Q&A, and that's Theater of Blood. They're having a screening of that. And last is the day before Halloween, which I believe is a Sunday, at 2:00 in the afternoon. I've never seen this movie. I know you guys have, but they're showing Nosferatu, the silent movie with live organ accompaniment. Someone is going to be playing right.
You're gonna go? You should go.
Yeah, I mean it's at 2 in the afternoon. So and I know that the movie's not very long, right? I mean it's
an hour and 20, right?
Yeah.
But it's F.W. Murnau's expressionist masterpiece of cinema. Take aside the vampire aspect, take aside the Dracula connection, and the fact it was very nearly a lost film because of the lawsuit with the Stoker estate at the time, where it was ordered to be destroyed. It's still just a phenomenal film, just as a piece of celluloid.
Creepy as all hell too. Yeah.
But and it would be cool to have the music live going on as you're watching the movie. And for someone like me who has not seen it yet, I think it'd probably be pretty cool. So that's it. Right at the end of the month, day before Halloween.
And you're seeing Theater of Blood?
I'd like to. Yeah, I that one is probably one of my favorite Vincent Price movies. I love that. Just with how over the top it is, and
They left it lying hard. They will left no more.
Just all the different and all the Shakespearean ways that he dispatches of these critics, and how it mirrors him in reality at the time too. That he never got his just due for all the work that he did throughout the years. So so those are coming up. Sorry.
Every October, this will be the 4th year now. Netflix, I have to renew my Netflix now, has a Mike Flanagan miniseries. And they're pretty good. One is The Haunting of Hill House came out first. Might be my favorite haunted house movie, miniseries, whatever. I think it's better than A Haunting. Well, Poltergeist, if you're including Poltergeist, I won't put it. Old school haunted house kind of thing. That's my favorite. Then he did Haunting of Bly Manor. Yeah, not quite as good. But then he did Black Mass last year with the vampire priest. That was really good. This year starts tomorrow. It's called, what the hell is it called? The Something. Just had it
The
up
Something's one of my favorites. I love The Something.
Yeah. What the hell is it called? Right here. The Midnight Club. I have no idea what it's about, but I like most of the things he did. He did the Ouija board sequel, which is really good. And the first one sucked. So he knows what he's doing. He's an old school kind of guy that gets it. He gets horror. So I have a lot of faith in the Midnight Club.
Didn't he direct Trick or Treat?
Did he do Trick or Treat?
Am I making that up?
I don't know. I felt like I made up half of the shit I just said. So I don't know.
I know it was one of the guys that went on and did one of the Godzilla movies who did Trick or Treat. So
Tell you in a second. Hold on.
this is exciting for the viewers. I'll entertain.
The director's name
Start
is
spreading the news.
Michael Dougherty.
Michael Dougherty.
Oh, Michael Dougherty. That's right. He's got a good little CV as well with
and he did Ouija 2 Origin of Evil, which you don't even need to see the first one. I'm telling you, the second one is fantastic.
Really? Okay.
Yes, it's so good. And it takes place in the early 70s. And he actually has the cigar burn in the corner every 10 minutes to tell the guy to change the reel, even though there's no reel. He just put it there.
No, that's a bit Tarantino for me. That.
By the way, speaking of Trick or Treat from 2007, next week's episode will be a roundtable review of that Halloween classic, like I said, from 2007, one of the great fairly recently anthology films, which is a throwback to all the classic anthology films of the the 60s and 70s. So that'll be next week, guys. So
and I got my Warehouse shirt on. I feel like I'm in the club.
I see that.
You have this on, a Warehouse shirt, or if you own a Chance shirt, you're like officially in the club.
There you go.
So I wanted to crack that. I wanted to wear that for the Secret Satan. I just it just went through the wash, so I have to try it.
Yep, celebrating Hudson Valley, right? So cool. All right, so first, let me get my 3 mandatory ones out of the way, and I probably mentioned these before, but there is a handful of films that I generally watch every year without fail, going back like a million years. And sometimes I say to myself, I own all these films. And yet these 3 or 4 or 5 films I watch the same time of year every year. And it's like, but I just do it. I've been doing them for so long. I just keep doing it because I still love them. The first one is Frankenstein. This is the Blu-ray. I've got the 4K over there as well. I don't know what it is, man. There's something about this film that just keeps me coming back year after year after year. I do watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein every year as well, sometimes during Halloween season, sometimes any other time during the year, doesn't matter. And I do watch The Wolfman a lot, like during each year. And if I can't squeeze it in during Halloween, I'll watch it afterwards. So that's right there. I love the Universal films so much. I've been watching them since I was like 3 years old. So I'll be watching until I'm no longer on this earth. The Exorcist.
When you watch those, a quick question: when you watch those, to any of you guys, do you sometimes watch them through the eyes of a kid in the 30s and 40s? like he's looking at the poster outside of the movie theater, like, oh my God, I'm gonna see that on the screen. And then he walks in and then it's on the screen. Sometimes I go through that whole motion in my mind.
It depends how good the acid is, Jamie, I'll be honest. No, I do try and put myself into that zone where just, you know, it is the 1930s or 40s and you have to accept certain things that are and aren't going to happen. But yeah.
I often get giddy like I was when I was a kid watching them.
Yeah, they do bring out a childlike wonder in there, I think, more than modern, because there's no sexiness to CGI to me, you know.
Or sometimes if it's a pre-code, or if it's a pre-code movie,
right?
You know, like the way you look at that it's kind of like, you know, wow, what did they? Or it's like, wow, I can't believe they showed something like that
back then. Yeah,
exactly. Many years ago. Yeah.
And I often will recite lines before they even happen. And if my wife's in the room, she just looks at me like, "Really?" I'm like, "Sorry."
No. Listen to them.
Yes.
Children of the night.
What music
they made.
So many great lines in these films. The Exorcist. Love it. You know, Craig was there last year during 24-hour Exhumed, the Horror Fest. The first film they played to cap the weekend off was this. And I'd never seen The Exorcist in the theater before. I was like, I literally sat there and I was like, yes, it was so cool. So yeah, I adore this film. Love
the 2000 version they showed with the spider walk.
The spider walk, yes.
Yeah.
The extended director's cut, yes.
With some better stuff for Father what's his name as well? Father Merrin. He's got a lot more dialogue in the extended cut as well, with Damien on the stairs, which I really like.
Yes, that whole scene right after they came out of the room,
Yeah, when they're talking about Satan's job is to make you doubt your faith and stuff. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Great, such a great film. Still creeps me out, you know. It's
I love number 3 as well. Three's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes me jump in the first one is the telephone ringing, where he's listening to the kill the priest, and the phone rings.
Yeah. It's like,
I think
the sounds of it's like, I think we have rats in the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's sound. It's just because it's something that you could hear at your house of a tree branch or something that's hitting your home.
Something, yeah.
And it's just, you know, and that scene where you see that quick flash of the demon face.
Yeah.
You know, and
I think the most chilling part might be when the devil, or we know it's called Pazuzu, but that's just a stupid name. They never call it that in the first one. When the demon uses the voice to say, "Any change for an old dollar boy, father?"
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And you realize the devil has been watching Damien the whole film. Yeah. It's like, oh my God.
And every time Grace is a pain in my ass, I go, Damien, why you do this to me, Damien? Damien.
So good. So that's one of them. And my last one for the mandatory watch is this is probably my favorite slasher film of all time, Black Christmas. Coming out on 4K. I'm gonna buy it again.
I know.
I love Black Christmas, man. This is so good. This is a great example of sometimes you don't have to show all the killings for it to be still really, really impactful and really unnerving and creepy. It's like it's not what you see here, it's what you don't see. And the fact that spoiler alert, folks, and if you haven't seen this film already, too bad. They never catch the killer at the end. It's like you got these meathead cops who've looked over the entire house,
except the attic.
And he's up in the attic with the dead bodies. Like what? Come on. And how they never did a sequel to this, I'll never understand. But this is an amazing, amazing film.
Just 25 remakes.
Yeah.
Did they ever do a sequel to a remake?
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't need the remake.
Not to one of the ones I know. They just keep remaking them. Yeah.
At least 3 times. Yeah.
As for what I have on tap to watch this season, I picked.
I didn't know we were doing the on-tap bits already. I missed mine.
The Final Terror. All right. I haven't seen any of these films in years.
Not seen that.
And I think I've only seen the first 2. So the Final Destination 5 film collection I picked.
Oh yeah.
They're fun.
You never seen any of those?
Just the first 2. I've never seen any of the last 3. So I'm
Fun.
sure it's law of diminishing returns, but I'm going to kind of watch them boom, 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 boom after I get done catching up on the Hammer.
I think it actually goes like that because they can accept people are only watching this for the really inventive kills.
Oh yeah.
So let's just double down on that instead of worrying about plot and character. So it just goes.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. It was cheap. It was a cheap set. I think it was like $50. And then I just got this in. I haven't seen any of these. Wreck.
Oh yes.
I've never seen any.
Oh.
I've seen the first
masterpiece.
I've never seen the fourth one.
That's what everybody says. I've never seen them. So it's got all 4 of them here, and I also got this for a pretty good price. So I'm looking forward to checking these out. If I can, I hope to go to the theater. I want to see this Barbarian film that's playing in the theaters, which everybody's raving about.
And the Smile movie.
That too, and then I'd like to see Terrifier 2. I think the reason why Rich Catino's not here tonight is because he was trying to go catch it. I think it opened up in select theaters tonight, so it's not playing in my.
Yeah, it's already on Blu-ray here. So,
oh, it is! Wow, Jesus, it's just opening up. Yeah. So,
just like the Dario Argento movie, people are saying, "Oh, that's coming out soon in America." And it's been out on Blu-ray in Europe for about 6 months now. So,
wow.
Dark Shades.
Black Phone. Black Phone is pretty good with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I want to check that out. Yeah, that's been on demand. I just haven't checked it out. There's a ton of things I want to check out. But yeah, that's
you'll enjoy those Wreck movies, Pete. And the first one was remade in America as Quarantine, which is not good.
It's not.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
I saw Quarantine. Okay.
Yeah, but the first Wreck movie and is all the first 3. I have not seen the fourth one. You'll really enjoy those. They're all in Spanish, but with English subtitles.
That's fine. I don't mind
that.
Are they from Spain?
Yeah, it's in Spain.
Yeah, they're creepy. They're pretty good.
Yeah,
and anyone who's kind of down on found footage movies, because God knows we had far too many of them in such a short space of time. Wreck will bring you right back into that mind space of absolutely loving them because it's phenomenal.
And they all hold up. There's no stinkers in there. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, doesn't feel like a cash in at all. It feels like about like 28 weeks later felt like a necessary sequel to 28 days later.
All right. I don't know how I'll fit it in. I'll try.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull a Pete, read books, watch movies, do shows. I feel like I'm like at a D+.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Davey, did you have any to be watched this season? I know
I mean, some that I've before I knew, because Jamie wasn't the only one with short notice. I had about 5 hours, so we all had to throw stuff together today. But I've already started watching a few things. My first watches this month was Horror Express, which I just think is one of the most fun. I mean, it's basically The Thing on a train, but with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. So come on, and it's got the immortal line where they're doing it could be any one of us, and Peter Cushing says, "Well, it can't be us. We're British."
Davey, is that an Arrow release?
Yes, it is, and it is out in the States as well. You can get that in the States. So
I have I have the other Blu-ray. I don't even remember who put it out, but doesn't have great artwork like that. I'll tell you that much.
And I did that in a twofer with another Cushing and Lee with Andre Morel of The Hound of the Baskervilles, one of my favorite adaptations of that story, and also just a terrific Hammer film, and one of the best horror versions of the most horror Sherlock-like story. And then obviously, won't go into depth on it, but just Hammer in general for this time of year. If I had to pick one just now from this set, it would be probably my all-time favorite Hammer outside of maybe Cash of Demand and Captain Clegg. The Devil Rides Out with Christopher Lee, one of my absolute favorites. Christopher Lee is the good guy for a change, and it's Charles Gray is the villain. Just a fantastic Satan, your kingdom will come down, and Christopher Lee's taking it. It's brilliant. And then one that I have actually not seen and I've been keeping for a while because I knew that the season was upon us, and I've had it for ages. Mark of the Devil.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Such a wild film. Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's like, I don't know why I've never watched it. I've had it, and it just sits there. And then I think next time.
You're going to want to take a shower after that one. It's definitely
What are these showers you talk of? Some must be an American thing. And then I dug into it when it came, but Severin's massive box set of folk horrors, All the Haunts Bears, which I kept in the bespoke box set, which American Post wasn't terribly kind to, but all folk horrors from around the world, including Native American stuff, All the Haunts Bears from Severin. It is an absolutely stacked deluxe set.
How many films is that?
I think it's 17 films. And 19 films, over 12 Blu-rays, 3 CDs, and 15 hours of special features. You get films that have been released.
That's the whole month right there.
Is it a lot of crap though?
No, that's the great thing. Because it goes around the world, it takes the best example. So from Russia, you have the film VIY, which was released separately, and that's a masterpiece of Soviet cinema. From the UK, you get Penda's Fen by Alan Clark, an absolutely brilliant folk horror. He discovered Gary Oldman, Tim Roth. The Native American one, you get is Eyes of Fire. You get from Poland, you get Walishka. Every single one of another English one you get is A Field in England by Ben Wheatley with Reece Shearsmith, which is a phenomenally acid folk horror. It's very trippy, very weird, very 60s. But it's a stunning set, and you also get a CD pack with it where the novel The White People is read by Linda Hayden from Blood and Satan's Claw.
Oh wow, okay.
So which is probably the best folk horror ever, but they didn't want to release it in this set because they released that separately. So,
yes, because it was pricey too. Yeah.
Yes, they only release that whenever it's a Severn sale or halfway to whatever it's called.
Well, a set like that is probably great for someone who has gotten into folk horror but only really has seen Blood on Satan's Claw, The Wicker Man, Midsummer, and others, right? So there you get stuff all over the place. Yeah.
If you're someone like that and also likes world cinema and it has no issues, like you said, Pete, with subtitles, I can't recommend it highly enough. Folk horror from around the world and across the decades, because it goes back to the 1960s. And then my most recent watch, but I won't discuss anything about it whatsoever, I'll just show the cover very quickly, is Legend of Seven Golden, which was one I definitely needed to rewatch again. Pretty sharpish to do some homework.
There's a reason why Davy's not talking. There's a reason why Davy's not talking much about that. So let's. So programming for the next few weeks, everybody. So next week we have, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing a little roundtable review of the Trick or Treat film from 2007. We've probably mentioned it here and there on the channel over the last couple of years, but we're going to do a full discussion of it. It's like I said, it's one of the great horror anthologies of recent years. So that'll be next week, and then the following week. We are going to be doing a ranking the film show of all the Hammer Dracula films, 9 in total. So we'll be ranking them as we like them. So most of us over the next 2 weeks will be rewatching a lot of these Cushing and Lee classics. There's one or two without one or the other, but they are, as long as Dracula was mentioned in them, we'll be ranking them. So there's 9 of those Hammer classics featuring Dracula. So that
I was just watching the scars of when I got the text.
There you go. Cool. That's a fun film. They're all really good, to varying degrees of goodness, but I think they're all enjoyable. So that'll be happening, and then we've got the week after that, which is the week of Halloween. We'll be doing our next Secret Satan film challenge for Halloween. We'll have everybody on board for that. So that's coming up then, and the week after that, we will be Craig and Chris Allo and myself will be doing a recap of the Exhumed 24-hour horror-thon in the Colonial Theater in Pennsylvania. And we'll just be telling you how that went, what films were played and all that good stuff. And then other things we've got in the works. We're going to do a Gamera film ranking. At some point, we'll do a Tiny Terrors film ranking. Davy and Dan Brown and I will be doing full reviews of the new Blu-ray releases for Mark of the Vampire and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the 1931 film, Fred March. So a long time waiting for those to come out on Blu-ray, and that's from Warner releasing those?
Warner Archive, both of
Warner
them. Yeah.
Archives, yeah. So as you can see, lots going on here at the Monsters Den. A lot of stuff we've got lined up for all of you. So stay tuned. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together. All the damn
time.
See you next week for Trick or Treat, and the week after that for Hammer Draculas for Jamie Laszlo, Craig Kaminski, and Davy Gallgher. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you next time here on The Monsters Den.